paragraph number 4, she states, we have been now living under this constant surveillance for 4 years. Jumping over some statute of limitations issues, which will be in the merits. With respect to the imminent harm, we will be asking the court to consider the admission in her affidavit that they've been aware of the surveillance for 4 years. You're also going to hear evidence that they contemplated, hired, and drafted lawsuits with respect to this activity over 2 years ago, and that was never filed. And so, on the issue of imminent harm, going directly to one of the issues related to injunctive relief, it's important. As Mr. Jeffrey said a few minutes ago, Mr. Rathbun left the church, and for 4 or 5 years, there's nothing. There was no controversy. There was no dispute between the parties. And as she states in her affidavit, she says in 2000, paragraph 3 of her affidavit, in 2009, my husband broke his silence about Scientology. He gave national media interviews. She says, I've never been a Scientologist. I gave no interviews, nor did I speak publicly about these matters. But the point is, all of a sudden, after about 5 years of leaving the church, he started speaking out. And I'll skip the theatrics, but one of the ways that he spoke out is he started a blog. And I could ask somebody to put it up. I'm not. There's like 25 large 3-ring binders of all of Mr. Rathbun's writing on his blog, all of which are acidic, hate-filled criticisms of the Church of Scientology. It's daily. It's constant. Mr. Rathbun has been on Anderson, Cooper, you name a network, he's given an interview. You name a major national magazine, he's been given an interview. He's quoted throughout the television media in the United States, in Europe. He's quoted in all of the national magazines, local newspapers, San Antonio Express News, Florida newspapers, blogs. And Judge, there's blogs out there that are sole purpose is hatred towards the Church of Scientology. So I'm going to go back to tell you that this is a religious dispute. There are blogs against the Catholic Church. There are blogs against the Methodist Church. There's blogs in anything involving religion, because aside from politics and homeowners associations, there's always going to be somebody that is going to be defiant. There's going to be somebody with a personality that becomes obsessive and begins a crusade against whether it's the homeowners association, the Methodist Church of Bernie, where I'm from, or the Catholic Church in downtown San Antonio. And a really important issue in this case is the orthodoxy of religion. Methodists have an orthodoxy. The Catholic Church has an orthodoxy. Scientology, the Church of Scientology, has an orthodoxy. And it is the scriptures. It's what is their religion. And Lamont can't go out and start a Catholic church that says Lamont Jefferson's Catholic Church, put up a great big sign that says Lamont's Catholic Church. I can't do the same thing for a Methodist church. It's not without a visit from somebody in the Catholic Church or the Methodist Church. An organized, established religion has the right to preserve its orthodoxy. It's the consistency. Their members, their congregation requires that consistency. And occasionally, all religions have a heretic that goes out and tries to change the orthodoxy, doesn't respect the orthodoxy. And there's nothing wrong with attempting to hold that orthodoxy, hold the scriptures to what they are intended to be and what the church has established them to be. This lawsuit, while it's in the name of Monique Rathbun, is a dispute between Marty Rathbun and the Church of Scientology. That's what this fight is, and it's over the orthodoxy of Scientology. Mr. Rathbun, through his blogs and through his own teaching, and by the way, his own business in which he's practicing some of the activities of Scientology. You're not going to hear Mr. Rathbun or Ms. Rathbun say, I disagree with Scientology. They're going to say, I disagree with the way CSI, my client, is holding its orthodoxy. That's the fight here. Now, I've coined my own little phrase called the Rathbun Cabal. There's a group out there in the United States that have teamed up with Mr. Rathbun. You're going to hear, I believe, testifying a man named Mike Render. You're obviously going to also hear from Monique Rathbun. The three of them and others are directly or indirectly involved in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 different legal proceedings against the Church of Scientology. They're involved in litigation in Los Angeles, Southern District of Texas, Middle District of Florida, 6th Judicial District in Florida, San Patricio County, Bexar County, Moore, California, 15 different pieces of litigation. It's become an industry for it. And here we are in one more. And every one of them is a call to the media. Every one of them is played to the media. In this particular case, the next day after the lawsuit was filed, the media is called. How does the media pick up on a lawsuit filed in? How does the media in St. Petersburg, Florida, pick up on a lawsuit filed in Comal County?
I need to make an objection. Your Honor, I make very few objections, but they jumped all over me for arguing the case. Are they presenting evidence of any of this? This is just pure argument that won't even be in the record. I think he's going very far afield, and it's just plain false.
There's an issue of I'm sorry, Judge.
Let's do try to stick, because we are here on a temporary injunction hearing for preserving the status quo if certain elements can be met. So, that's regardless of who shows up for the open court. I understand what you're saying.
I appreciate it.
I'd really just like to keep the opening statements directed to that, just as I argued to Mr. Jeffers as well.
Thank you. The second most important, maybe not even that order, element to a temporary injunction hearing is going to be their probability of prevailing on the causes of action that they have alleged. The essence of their causes of action is they do not like the surveillance that has occurred by the Church of Scientology on the Rathbun. It's important to understand that when there's a church with their orthodoxy that's being attacked, changed, modified, that they need to do something about it to preserve their own religion for the benefit of their membership and the benefit of the church. And so I'm bringing out what it is that Mr. and with the assistance of Ms. Rathbun have done is place themselves through the media, through daily, hourly blog activity, that place themselves in positions of public figures. And with respect to First Amendment rights, with respect to a company's or a church's ability to defend itself legally, 15 lawsuits, participation in lawsuits, consulting in different lawsuits, they have an ability to defend themselves and understand what it is that's being challenged in their orthodoxy and in their church. And so they're going to be asking the court to fashion some sort of equitable injunctive remedy that, let's just take this lawsuit, for example, they've been sued. They should have the ability to do what every defendant, what every company is entitled to do legally within the bounds of the law, within the bounds of the Constitution, to defend themselves, to understand both in terms of the orthodoxy of the church and the allegations that are going to be brought or are being brought against them. Another important fact, and I need to kind of walk the tightrope on this. Mr. Rathbun, while he was with the church, was in charge of, or I should say in charge of, worked with legal counsel and worked with other members of the Church of Scientology related to the trademarks of the church. The Catholic Church has trademarks. Methodist Church, Presbyterians, all religions have trademarks. And it's important for them to preserve those trademarks. We will submit, and evidence will show that Mr. Rathbun has continuously, since out of nowhere, he starts his fight with the church when he stops his silence, he starts violating those trademarks. Trademark litigation is difficult. There's always a patent infringement. Any intellectual property, it's very difficult sometimes to understand how your trademark is being violated. You can walk up to somebody, you can have a letter, you can ask for a meeting, they deny that they're violating it. And so you need to do certain things to protect your trademark. And so that's a context that needs to be understood with regard to the issue of probability of prevailing. It's our position, and the evidence will show in a temporary injunction here, that anything and everything that the Church of Scientology did to protect its trademark, to protect its orthodoxy, they did so within the law. They did not violate the law. They did not violate Ms. Rathbun's privacy. They did not violate the privacy of a public figure who has no legal expectation of privacy. And it's going to be our position at the temporary injunction hearing that because what we were doing was legal and within our constitutional right to protect our property and our members, that there's nothing that this court can do to enjoin any of the activities that they themselves are going to prove that we were doing. They're not going to prove that anything was illegal, that anything was improper, that anything was outside the bounds of the law, that an investigator can do, that anybody needs to do to legally protect their property.